I talked about this yesterday. And we talked about how these promos they have like this sort of upside down pyramid sort of structure, where at this level, it's a very broad, and then it gets narrower, narrower, narrower till you get down to the thing. And then you're like actually talking about, oh, it's a call sweep, right? It's a volume explosion. It's when this touches the moving average line. Now you're talking about the actual thing. Pull the curtain back at that final, how does it work section. I would like to try to add some context to this conversation. One of the things that I feel is getting left out is everybody is suffering from that most copywriters are trying to sell the thing that's in their head. And it's usually the very tip top or the very bottom of that triangle. It's the most tip, like the very smallest, most minute, the actual thing. And they forget to blow it up into something bigger and broader. So I think in the context of this conversation, none of us have really talked about zooming out away from, well, what is this, something beyond just the toxic thing? Because, I mean, even for me, I'm sort of just figuring this out too at this stage. I'm starting to see like, I got to start looking at bigger picture stuff. I can't just we can't just look at this copy. So checking out my comment, setting context is a big thing. Most writers focus on the tip of the pyramid. They don't zoom out to the broader stuff. You go straight to fixing toxic things. You sort of name it right out of the bat and you focus on it heavily. You never build this, you never lay any groundwork or foundation to stand on. It's very top heavy. So here's the other thing. We got pieces missing from this copy. I think because we have toxic money patterns, I feel like the folks on this call we start at a force in nature, and we're starting with, okay, we got toxic money problems. That's the force in nature. But inherent in every presentation of the toxic money problems is fix this. And to me, that just screams super problem. So that means we actually have a giant gaping hole of an opportunity. So if you look at this comment, what you're really looking for, it says, so once you fix toxic money problems, you enter some new state of being. That is the force of nature. When you're in that mode, when you're pure, you get rich. Because the cool thing about the beats of a sales letter, as I lay them out, is it's algebra. I can say the things. Does the math check out? If you fix this, do you get a result? That doesn't check out. The when then statement is so pure and simple that like when you're clean, so you can call it, like if you're toxic now, well, you got to be clean. So when you're clean, you can be rich. So that leaves you with, how do I get clean? Enter the mechanism. It's circular. It's like y equals mx plus b. If I have like one or two of the elements, I can tell you the whole sales letter. I can invent it from two things. And the way that I generally approach this is I go to the guru and I say, basically, there's two questions. One, how do you pick stocks? Two, what are you most excited about in the market? And within those two sorts of general questions, I have my force of nature and his mechanism for tapping into it. So with fixing the toxic money problems, we have identified a super problem. So now we need to look at the other side of that. Well, what happens if we fix it? We don't actually have a solid, like clear answer for that. So that is what we are in fact selling. Because everyone here knows this promise it's not smooth. It's jagged, it's frayed, it's fragmented. But nobody understands exactly how to fix it. They're like, well, if you focus and drill on the toxic thing, you can figure out your promise. What'll happen is it will be so clear and simple to you when you actually have a true force of nature. That's when you go through enough reps, you'll realize that that's a super problem. That's why it's not working. The reason it's not working is because it doesn't work. The math doesn't check out. So you're missing that variable. So once you obtain, and again, we can use a word like clean or pure, whatever anti-toxic is.
Yeah, like
right?
Scientology.
Yeah. Whatever that is clear. Yeah. Once you're, what's the word? Once you're like translucent, right? Like once you become like your toxic energy is now translucent. Like once you achieve a state of translucence, you'll get rich. And now I have a story to tell. Well, before we can dive into translucence, where did this all start? Where did this come about? And what happened was someone made this epic discovery that, oh my God, I'm toxic. And it was only after figuring out he was toxic and then reversing this problem, he achieved translucence and the world opened up to him. Here's the results, that the bevy of goodies that fell out into his lap.
What's up, Copy Squad? I hope you found that useful, and if you'd like to actually join our private conversations in full and get some of this actionable advice for your copy or business, I invite you to check out copysquad.net/join. Here you can sign up for our highest, most exclusive level group, the Copy Squad Inner Circle. Every week we alternate between two types of live meetings to keep our conversation fresh around copy and continually grow our skills together. So one week we take member submissions and questions and we go over user copy, and then the next week we'll do sales letter breakdowns of top tier 7- and 8-figure sales letters by some of the best copywriters and businesses in the game. So that rotates every week. One week we take submissions, the next week we do a sales letter breakdown. These calls are attended by myself, my current writing team, and even some of my previous writers are also regulars on these calls. So there's top tier talent attending all of these calls. We also have a brand new Slack channel for members to share ideas, their copy, experiences, insights, and keep up with our program announcements. So all you got to do is go to this page, copysquad.net/join. Choose whether you want a yearly or monthly membership, and then you can have access to one of the highest performing, most elite copy groups on the planet. Thanks so much for tuning in, and peace out, Copy Squad.